The Jay-Z news has hit the Wall Street Journal. This is not good for stock, but someone warned us all along, and we have her here to respond. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore, and I am here with the one and only Jaguar Wright. Jaguar, you told us all so. How are you feeling today?
Like Bill Murray in that movie Groundhog's Day.
Oh, yep. You're just repeating. You know, this is not surprising to you
at all.
It's wild. I asked you this earlier. You're not enjoying this because this is a tough day because look, and I have to say I don't know the truth. But Jaguar has been warning us about Jay-Z. Yeah. Jay-Z has now had an official lawsuit. It's everywhere. It's now being talked about louder than ever. I guess, does that give you some peace to know that people are finally really questioning this man?
It's emboldening me. I spoke on Piers Morgan. I said that I had 3 victims that I've been working with, victims of the Carters, that were ready to come forward. This might help them feel a little more confident now. So this is great because he's been evading. But the thing is, everyone in the backdrop knew that he was the celebrity John Doe. Everybody knew that. They knew it when I did Piers Morgan.
Is Beyonce celebrity B?
I hope to God not. But she was around.
Mm.
And she's very... she's got enough on her plate. After everything that happened with the election and everything that's happening right now, I'm not going to dump on that woman. She got better fish to fry. Well, what I will say is that her husband, she knows exactly who he is.
Yeah.
She knows. She knows.
I want to give you props, though, because on your channel, which I want to plug, you Jaguar Wright Effect, you guys can support it. You posted last night, your first response was reposting the unedited Piers Morgan interview, which I found very ballsy and very telling. And again, this is where it all came from, where Piers Morgan was scared by Alex Spiro, Jay-Z's attorney, proving they are watching and they're being litigious. I got to watch my back, Jaguar. I appreciate you getting that. And I don't want to lose my platform. I can't afford Alex Spiro.
I wouldn't want that for anyone. I don't want anyone to lose their platform.
He's good. He's good too. Right or wrong.
He's real good.
What I wanted to take this video for is we're going to have Jaguar live tomorrow around 4 p.m. Eastern. She's coming back for a long form conversation. We're going to hear plenty. If you got questions, come ask them. Jonas, tomorrow, hit the subscribe. Jaguar, I want to do a victory lap for you here. I want to say, because people say you're being crazy, but the reality is I think you were onto something before a lot of us, specifically about Jay-Z. And there are some clips I want to watch with you, particularly one of Rihanna that really freaked me out. This clip, guys, if you haven't seen it, which I hadn't seen it until this morning when I saw this headline, Kim found it for me. Let's watch this clip quickly.
Crazy
Let's
that you
watch
haven't
Tyra
seen
pushing to get this out of Rihanna, and when it does, man, it made me feel very, very uncomfortable.
Audition, yes. But before I met him, I was so nervous. I was shaking literally. But the moment I walked into the office, the atmosphere was so warm and welcoming.
And you had to sing a cappella for him?
Yes, I had to sing. I sang Pon de Replay. I sang another ballad from the album last time.
Yeah. So then what did he say to you? He said something to you.
Oh, yes. He said, we don't sing songs here. We sing artists. And there was this little pause, and I was nervous. But then he said, and we're interested. And there was this sudden feel of relief.
But then he said something about a window and a door or something.
Oh, then he said, he did it whole
I did a lot of homework on you, Miss Lady.
He said, there are 2 ways to leave here, either through the door with the deal sign or through this window, and we're on the 29th floor.
So you was like, where's the pen? Where's the paper? I'm signing.
Yeah.
And
the audience is so uncomfortable. Like, I don't know if Tyra was trying to get that on the record, but my God, what Jaguar, he threatened her. This is her own words coming out of her mouth. And she was a kid at that time, correct?
15-year-old girl who had been flown to the United States without parental supervision or a chaperone, brought to a grown man's office in a large corporate Manhattan building. Everybody knew when she flew in. I was there the day she got signed. Everyone was talking about it. And the 6 hours that she spent with him, and the 4 hours that she spent alone with him with no parental supervision. Her father didn't show up to the next day to come and collect the check.
Well, and there's
This isn't her life.
The rumors were even beyond that, right? That Jay-Z was cheating on Beyonce with her when she was
Very much
17
so.
is what a lot of this came out through a publicist who later then
Have
had
you
to
spoken
apologize.
to my friend Jonathan Hay? You should talk to Jonathan.
Please.
Because Jonathan was there. He was right there working with Rihanna. And it was right when they started crafting her to be seen as a brand and commodity only and not a person. And when I talk to Jonathan now, just to hear him when he thinks of his teenage daughters, he was like, Rihanna was the same age my girls are now. I couldn't imagine putting my daughters through what we put her through. And then the next thing you know, she was removed from that first team from Pond the Replay and replaced with all new handlers and kept sheltered in Los Angeles, where she was going out to parties and partying at 15, 16, 17 years old, hanging out at the Rainbow Room, hanging out. Yeah, like it was one of my friends who found out she was 17 when everyone thought she was 21. And he was like, yo, why do y'all got me carrying this girl around? And she's, oh, it's cool, it's cool.
Well, but just to echo and support you, like they had to debunk that. Oh, we apologize. It wasn't real. We made it up in hopes of giving her single a boost.
Yeah, they
like,
promised
what?
Jonathan a deal working at Tidal and something, and then they reneged. And then the next thing you know, he was caught in a home invasion robbery while he was working on the Drake secret baby mama story,
Jeez.
Sophie. He was duct taped him and his daughter, and he was pow whipped in front of his child. So, you know, there's a lot that goes on in the backdrop. And I know the PTSD. I know what it's like to be in a trunk, you know.
Speaking of PTSD, you made a comment about this. Like, this was from the Super Bowl appearance more recently. This bothered you, seeing her put the Rockefeller's logo out there.
If you
what was
go
your
back
instinct to that?
and watch, it was almost as if she didn't want to put her hands up, and then she looked over where Jay-Z's box was, and then you just see her hand. She look at her. She's looking at his box. She didn't want to do it. She didn't even want to do that gig. But the hold, especially the financial hold with the companies and all of the money and all of the strings that he pulled to. He treats these women like shell corporations.
Is that why this happened? Do you have any insight on this infamous elevator video where Solange was seen just unloading on him? Beyonce's there as well.
What I will say is right there, that's the moment when he told her to back up and called her Tito Jackson.
And respect and love to Tito Jackson, who we just lost recently.
I know. Tito
legend,
could never get a break. And he's the nicest guy.
But here, yeah, Jay-Z trying to mimic, she's not worthy, she's nobody, is what he's trying to do.
Pretty much is what he pretty much said to her. But the thing is there was infidelity that was happening that night. Both of them got caught doing things they weren't supposed to do. I believe there might have been some DV that happened. And people who know Mr. Carter knows he doesn't have a problem with putting his hands on his wife. Plenty of people know that to be true. Solange is different.
Allegedly, Solange is different. She's old school Southern, and she loves her big sister, even when her big sister makes mistakes. She stood up for her sister. The most interesting thing about that, though, can we look at that one more time, Andy? They come in and all of this, and then look, it almost looks like he's going to defend himself, but instead he prostrates himself, right? He lets Solange go nuts, and then he sits there and acts. He knows that camera's there. He knows where all the cameras are in that place. There's another footage, and I'll get it and I'll send it to you, of him with another woman approaching him aggressively, or it seemed like aggressively, and he the crap out of her. Matter of fact, there's at least 5 different shows over the course of the past 15 years where he has physically women that came into his space that he didn't want anywhere near him. So I find it funny
that in all those other instances, he had no problem with putting his hands on a woman to so-called defend himself. But when he's getting killed alive with cameras there, all of a sudden now he's meek and mild. I think that was a setup. I think he did that specifically to handle up on Solange.
Well, there's so much I want to talk to you about, but while I still have you and we're talking on this topic, let's talk about the ages, because he was after Beyonce when she was before 18, correct? I mean, as we go through the timeline, they claim, oh no, I met him at 18 and then we waited till I was 19, but they knew each other when she was like 15, 16, correct? He clearly had eyes, and it's not the only one, right? There's Aaliyah as well. I was looking at these photos. There's a history
but Aaliyah,
of this, right?
Definitely. A lot of people don't realize the timeline, but after everything went bad with Robert Kelly and he had to divorce Aaliyah, Jay-Z was interested while she was still underage. And as she started spending more time in New York, he was very, very, very right there. She didn't want that. She didn't want that with him. And if there's one thing I can tell you about Sean Carter, being embarrassed and being rejected are things he does not handle well. You know, a lot of people say, oh, you're crazy. He didn't do anything to Big L. He didn't do anything to Lamont Coleman. But I think people tend to forget, if Dame had successfully signed Lamont to Rockefeller, we wouldn't even know about Reasonable Doubt. It would have stayed a cult classic, probably sold 750,000. If Lamont Coleman had signed to Rockefeller, he would have been the star. He's always removed anything that can make him look as average as he is. I don't know how many times they used to tell the story, oh, he has a photographic memory. He remembers all of his lyrics, yet he's always had a teleprompter in the floor at his shows. That's why he would always sit down and look down at make it look like he was looking at his shoes. No, he was reading the lyrics. He is a magician. Everything you see about him is an illusion, but what he loves the most is controlling youth.
Well, that was something Nas said way back, saying, yeah, he was indulging with these back with R. Kelly.
And I wish I hadn't signed paperwork. And I wish I hadn't taken money. I wish.
Well, there's a lot of that you can't say.
Everybody else that didn't. I've spent my time collecting these people. And they will have their day, and we will all get justice.
But what's crazy to me is, like, I don't see how anyone can come after you and call you crazy when we're going through it. And this is Aaliyah, Rihanna, Beyonce. There's a history of these.
Ingemar Sean, also known as Foxy Brown, one of his first female artists, who was the little cousin of DJ Clark Kent, who just passed away from some cancer we didn't even know he had.
Now, she's denying it, but many say it's because she signed an NDA. Is that why?
Well, she did sign an NDA, and he's still paying her and her mother's bills right now. If anyone should be ashamed, it should be Inga. All of those diseases that she contracted from all of that unprotected sex with him. And I'm not saying alleged. You say allegedly. I'm not, because I know it to be true. She had sex with my cousin right after that. She burned him. She set the numbers for the CDC in Philly on a new high at 15, 16, 17 years old. She was running all around Philadelphia because Jay-Z promised her that they could be, normal when she wasn't with Corrupt. Corrupt was her fake boyfriend, which is why when they tried to use her to say that she was actually in the car and there with Keefy D and all of that, I'm like, that girl wasn't even there. These women are pawns. Ingemar Sean at 14 years old, 14 and a half, going on 15 years old, singing highly explicit and sexually charged, lyrics all written by Sean Carter. What kind of 27-year-old grown man turns a 14, 15-year-old girl virtually into a prostitute and gave her the nickname, the Il Nana? No kidding. You should have sent her to her shows with penicillin. Been halfway decent. all the men that she messed over. Oh my goodness. And every time he would ignore her, she would start acting crazy with corrupt, real crazy. And that day that she stuck that knife in his gut at his mother's house, God rest her soul. That girl is insane. He drove her nuts. And she's deaf from syphilis.
Well, there's clearly a lot more we need to talk about with Jaguar, which we're going to do tomorrow during our live, including your full-on reaction to this statement. I want to give you one last final thought here as we wrap it up. This very aggressive statement. Many saying, no way Jay-Z even wrote it. Very defensive, very deflective. Last thought from Jaguar. What is your response to this response from Jay-Z?
What I find interesting about that statement is what's not in it. There is no absolute denial. I hear ridiculous, preposterous, but I don't hear, I did not do that. More importantly, he's still having a hard time saying his friend's name. Diddy. You're not being accused of this independently. You're being accused of doing this with Diddy. Say something. I know that my friend is in trouble for all of these things. And as unfortunate as that is, it's not me. Say something, but you're still trying to pretend like you don't know him. And that's a problem. Because this isn't just your case. This is you and Diddy. And you still not mentioned him at all. But worse than that, he wants to talk about people being ambulance chasers and being, I don't know. My father was a Marine. My father, simplify. Hoorah. My money's on Tony Busby. And what I will say to everyone is, rather than getting into who's right and who's wrong, just listen to the facts. Just listen to the facts and let the details go. But the one thing that man did not do was still acknowledge the fact that Diddy is his best friend and he was there during his reign of terror for all of it. A willing participant.
Yeah, it's pretty telling he never condemned Diddy once, and now he's coming forward hard just to save his own butt.
That would have been the time to do it. That statement would have been the time to condemn it. I haven't said anything before now, but this has gone too far. My friend is going through some very unfortunate things. I do not condone what he's done, but I didn't do it. None of that is there.
100%
With all of
agree.
the intelligent people that helped write that statement, nobody thought it was important to say, hey, we condemn what Diddy has done. This is terrible, but hey, it ain't me.
Well said. And I got a lot more to ask her, so make sure you join us tomorrow live and make sure you subscribe to her over on the Jaguar Wright Effect. Give her a follow. You can also give her a Cash App. She's like the Simpsons. She knew this was coming, I guess. She knows what's coming, and I want to keep hearing what she's got coming. Again, these are her opinions, though. Allegedly, everything. Don't sue me, Alex Spiro. I'm not confirming anything this woman's saying, but I am listening, and I think we're all allowed to. Right, Jaguar?
Sue me. Stop coming after outlets. Stop coming after reporters. Stop coming after platforms. You got my number. Call me.
The fact that they haven't is very telling. I'll be honest. It's very strange. If he's going to get this
because
aggressive.
I'm so irrelevant and I'm nuts.
Not to wish you a lawsuit, Jaguar, but you're coming this hot on the Marine, but not you?
I'm the daughter of a scout sniper sergeant. Please sue me. I want to go to court. And when it's time for discovery, I guess we can all find out what I really know.
We can only hope. I think that's why he's not, though. I think that's my guess. That's my guess. But stay tuned.
But
we're going to have Jaguar live tomorrow. Be here at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Appreciate you, Jaguar. Subscribe to her. Stay tuned for more, guys.